Hi, welcome to part 2. So in part 1, you notice how I kind of went over the dates for Daniel 70 weeks. So with this one, this is more the consummation of Daniel 70 weeks. 70th week, I should say. So let's just zoom in this area here. Now, by the way, if you go to the description below, there should be a Google Drive link to this PDF that you see here. So, and then you're more than welcome to download it. And it's meant to be not to be looked at on a phone. I know we heavily rely on phones today, but it's meant to be looked on a larger screen, PC, laptop, using Adobe Reader. So Daniel 70th week from Tishri 6. Now this is the Hebraic calendar, and it's Gregorian, obviously. So Tishri 6, 8026. I did not use the 37, 87, or whatever year it was in Hebraic. It's something that we can't easily identify. But if you want to know what year it is, just do the conversion. You should just use this one here. This is a good calendar converter. I have verified that it is reliable. So, so this was the framework for the consummation from Tishri 6, 8066, Tishri 5, 8073. All right, so it's exactly 40 years to the day in the Hebraic calendar. All right, 2 parts of the same event. So, and this is not to be confused, the idea of dual fulfillment. I've had a lot of people look at this, oh, you must be espousing dual fulfillment. That tells me they have not looked carefully at the timeline. There's nothing here that suggests dual fulfillment. All right, I'm just simply suggesting that the framework was repeated, the 7-year framework, okay, in a consummating way. All right, that's different than idea of dual fulfillment. I do not believe in dual fulfillment or triple fulfillment or quadruple fulfillment or pentafulfillment and so on and so forth. I believe once something is fulfilled, and principle might still continue to apply later, which in many cases what I believe it is. So, yeah, so I became a partial preterist 2001, many years ago, after listening to Gary DeMar about the importance of time indicators when he was on the Bible Answer Man. And so I realized I had to push the reset button and start all over. And I became partial preterist, and I became content with that. At least now at this point, I'm not making God look like a false prophet in a trumpet-like fashion like I was along with the futurists back in the day. And the futurists don't realize they're doing that. And I didn't realize I was doing that either at the time I was a futurist. But then I became partial preterist and became content with it for a long time. And then in March of 2022, I realized, wait a minute, the Greek word for error in 1 Thessalonians 4 can be either spiritual or physical. And then that's when I started, okay, maybe all this is fulfilled. And so that's when the light bulb came on, especially in that summer of 2022, where I started piecing together a timeline. So it's basically taking what Gary DeMar said, according to time indicators, and taking it to the next level, piecing it together in a horizontal timeline fashion. And there's not a scholar today, I realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ed Stevens, Don Preston, Mike Sullivan, Zach Davis, guys from Berean Bible Church in Virginia, not a single one of them have taken Daniel 7:25, Revelation 12:14, Revelation 12:6, Revelation 11:2, Revelation 13:5, Revelation 11:3. Let's see here. And Daniel 12:12. Those passages I just gave you are all timelines that they have not taken the time to assemble it together. Not a single one of them. All right, and I'm not trying to be mean-spirited, but that is stunning. That is stunning. Okay. I would like to see them do it. Piece those verses I just gave you together And that's what I've done. And now, based on my experience, and others are welcome to test it as well, it all falls in place, all the parts and pieces. And so, when a person does not have an accurate timeline put together, what I see happening is they're force-fitting things, cramming things in, trying to fit their understanding of timeline, that they have not taken the time putting it together. I encourage every single person watching this video, get some sort of drawing software and piece it together. Obviously, got to make theological sense, right? Piece it together and see what you come up with. And if you have something different than this, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. So, but anyway, apparently this is the first timeline where this has been done with the dates. I use Josephus' writings, Words of the Jews, and to get the dates. And then Scripture itself actually verified Josephus' dates. How so? Josephus had written about how the cessation sacrifice took place and August 14th of AD 66. Now I have video explanation on how I got that date from his writings. So that means the next day, the first day of the 1335-day prophecy. Fast forward here. That last day, the stick of Judah fled. Those who fled earlier on were not considered part of the stick of Judah. It's based on Ezekiel 37. So they fled. And then the very next day, or that evening in Hebraic calendar, the beginning of 1260 days, that brings you to September 22nd, 1873. And that back checks to the times, and half a time. Oops. And you also come up with the same date, September 22nd, 1873. So, yeah, so it'd be nice to see these people who have a voice. I don't have a voice, and I never will. All right, I just simply I'll be going to the grave without a voice. Okay, I'm not as Stevens who has a voice. I'm not a Don Preston. Don Preston who has a voice. I am not a Mike Sullivan who has a voice, or Dak Davis, or I'm not any of those guys. Okay, I never will be. All right, and so I'll die the grave that way. It's just the way it is. So, but I'm a very visual person, and so I put this together just the best way I know how to communicate. So it's kind of like a blind person relies more on their hearing, or a deaf person relies more on sight. I'm kind of that. It's kind of the same analogy where I'm actually hard of hearing. I rely more on sight. So you can probably tell my voice that I'm hard of hearing. So so anyway, yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, so exactly 40 years to the day in the Hebraic calendar, based on the time and a half of time, the framework of Daniel's 70th week was repeated in a consummated way. This is not to confuse the idea of dual fulfillment, all right? For some reason, people are getting that idea. So anyway, yeah, I encourage you to look at this timeline. I encourage you to get drawing software, try to piece it together. When you do something like that, it forces you to really pay attention to detail that you normally otherwise wouldn't, and it's like a whole nother level of carefulness. All right, so you're not relying on your memory so much. You're not relying on your thoughts. You could be having a bad day. It gets recorded, and you pick up where you left off, and that's the beauty of this. So yeah, again, my challenge is to take Revelation 12:14, Daniel 7:25, Revelation 12:6, Revelation 11:2, 13:5, Revelation 11:3, and Daniel 12:12 pieces together a horizontal timeline. By the way, this is to scale. All right, and as far as I know, this is the first timeline in history that is a book of Revelation that is to scale, and that it really helps to see the bigger picture. So this is a more detailed version. So you can see how I have a dashed line, and you can see here the law is only revealed on this, based on this data dashed line, and 28 days later, the stick of Joseph, the Jews who were scattered throughout Asia Minor and the Roman Empire outside of Jerusalem, the temple, that came to Christ, gathered in the wilderness on September 11th, AD 66. So this is based on the time indicators of the Bible. So, and Josephus. So, alrighty, yeah, and I'm gonna wrap up with this. Well, I know among scholars they do not have a very good understanding of the 1335 days at all. Yes, Eusebius wrote, "Oh yeah," even though he wasn't there. "Oh yeah, people fled to Pella and Perea." The problem with that is not where their gathering took place, and what I know scholars don't recognize is Daniel 12 mentioned, "Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1335 days." All right, so those who fled early on did not wait the entire 1335 days. They're the ones that fled places like Pella or Perea. All right, they were not the blessed. Those who waited was the stick of Judah. God was doing a purging during the 1335 days. All right, that's one of the purposes of it. So the stick of Judah were the ones who waited till the last day, who endured to the end. They fled that Thursday afternoon, April 10th. All right, so there seemed to be a lot of confusion with the 1335 days, and understand it. Why? Because I think in theory they don't have an accurate timeline. By piecing this together carefully, it allows you to see things you would not normally see. So anyway, all right. So I'll just end it with that. Again, this is meant to be downloaded on a PC. It's a nice size screen using Adobe Reader. With Adobe Reader, it will give you more zoom options. This is basically open up off my Google Drive. You can be very limited when it comes to being able to zoom in. And when you download it and you open an Adobe Reader, when you take your cursor and hover over it, you can actually see the link before you click on it. All right. And so, yeah. So I encourage you to take advantage of it, and there's this timeline is not going to bite your head off. Okay, no need to be afraid. All right. Anyway, hope you continue to enjoy your studies, and you have an awesome day. Thank you.